changes to the lineup, Coach?
We'll have to wait and see.
Jim, there's going to be obviously a loud crowd tonight looking for a celebration. And the expectations are probably that they will close this out. How much actually can you lean into that with your group?
I don't think that affects us too much. I'll go back to it. We thought we played our best game of the series last game. We know we have to bring that and a little bit more in a couple areas to give ourselves the best chance to win. And that would be whether we're playing tonight in Los Angeles or here in Edmonton. It's kind of irrelevant. It's really about that game that we have to play, and that's what we're ready to do, and that's our only focus.
Do you see something where, at least from an offensive standpoint, I know you obviously had 33 shots on goal, but did you see something in the video just from an offensive standpoint where you think you can generate obviously goals and whatnot?
I don't know if there's anything too specific we'll talk about right now. We had our looks. It's just a matter of, do you create more and give up more, or do you keep the balance where you're creating enough to win and not giving up too much? And we thought we did that for the last game for sure. So we'll just go ahead with the same plan, maybe tweak a couple things, but again, nothing that we'll discuss here right now.
David Riddick, you didn't have a lot of work, but he did make some big saves for you guys early in that first period. I guess just what did you like? What did you see from him and what did you like?
Well, that's it. He didn't have a lot of work, but when he was counted upon, he made the save. With the exception of the power play goal, that was the one they got. But not easy to do, to come in from the bullpen like that. He's done that all year for us, and he gave us the game that we needed. We just needed to solve Skinner that night.
What have you seen out of your group in terms of starting games? And starting games well, it's obviously first goal has been important here.
Yeah.
What do you think of your team that way?
Yeah, we've liked our starts, with the exception of Game 3 taking the penalty. I think that really set us on our heels a little bit. I know the Oilers didn't score on that particular power play, but we came out with the first two shifts of that game, I think pretty well, like we have started each game, at least to the first time out, except we took the penalty. So our starts have been good. That's going to be very important tonight. To Eric's point, that will be an important part of it. The crowd will be excited and all those kinds of things. So the start, the first 6 minutes, get to the timeout, we'll have to make sure we're playing our best game during that time.
Jim, do you feel like with all the film you have now on your PK versus Edmonton's power play, that you're getting closer to figuring out a way to stop them?
Lots of teams have had it goes through the season. You can say when you start the season, maybe the first time you see each other, somebody might throw something different at you, but everybody's had a long runway of 82 games to get ready. You played against each other enough. You go back to last year's playoffs, we played against each other enough. So there are no secrets. It's just a matter of execution. And right now their execution is sharp. We got to give them credit. Their execution is sharp. We know they have a good power play generally, but they're executing. And it's our job to disrupt them and try to get them out of rhythm. Our power play right now is out of rhythm. They've done that job to us. We've got to get that back, at the same time flipping the script on the other side of it.
Jim, to follow up on that, do you feel like their scouting has been exceptional in this series? It seems like they're doing some things that are giving you guys problems that maybe you didn't expect.
No, I don't know. I wouldn't say that. Everybody's got a pretty good book, and the teams do tweak and make some adjustments. Everybody does that a little bit, but nothing where you're caught off guard and it's like, wow, wouldn't have expected that. So really, everybody's well prepared. There's great coaching throughout the league, and now it's a matter of executing under pressure, because it's one thing to say do this and do that, and all of a sudden the game changes and there's subtle things, and you have to make it happen under those circumstances. And on the special teams, they've done a better job of that than us so far.
Do you need someone to just step up here? You got a lot of good offensive players on the team that haven't delivered a lot of points in this series. Do you need someone to have games again?
Yeah, we'd like that for sure, and it can be anyone. It can be anyone, but obviously those guys are higher profile players. They get better opportunities. They're on the power play. So yeah, but we felt we were close. We really did. We are close. The last game to some of those players breaking out, and we're going at it with the attitude that that's going to happen tonight.
Jim, your usage of Anderson at the end of last game, in the last 6:41, he gets why he didn't play because of offense. But do you have a conversation with him about that unique lack of time on ice? Because usually he's in for every shift going down the stretch.
No, he's been around long enough. No, I think if it's a young player, his first year in the league, second year in the league, something like that, you might have to. But as you mentioned, he's got an understanding. He knows what his greatest strengths are, despite the fact he's been pretty dangerous in the series himself. Yeah, that's not something you have to worry about with a player.
Jim,
with a player.
Sorry about that. Q's been one of your, I would say, most effective forwards, particularly in this series. Now, maybe necessarily there's not a bunch of points there, but how do you think he's, from year to year, playoffs, from playoffs, last year's playoffs to this year's playoffs, how do you think he's grown, in terms of now being an effective and even making an impact?
Yeah, he's taken a step from last year. I can't speak to before, but he's taken a step from last year. I think he's physically stronger. I think you're seeing him hit with more impact. He's had a lot of good body checks in the series, and he's gotten to the net. That's always a struggle in the playoffs. You have to get to the other team's net front. That's where the goals are, and you're fighting through some pretty good box outs. And in the playoffs, sometimes the standard goes down just a little bit and makes you work harder and have that much more determination to get to the net front. I thought he's done that pretty well. That's still an issue, or that's still an area for growth for every player in the playoffs. Doesn't matter if you're 35 years old or 20 years old. It's getting to the other team's net front. It's never comfortable, but I think that's another spot where Q's shown growth, and he can still grow.
You've rode him pretty hard at times during the year. Like, is he to that point where if you need 20 plus minutes out of him tonight, is it to that point where you could feel comfortable riding him that hard in a game like this?
Oh yeah, without question.